Hello everyone. In today's session, we will see how to define and call a function with star args and star star quarks arguments. Before going for that, let's see what is the difference between these two terminologies. That is, what is star args and what is star star quarks. So args stand for arguments and hence star args stands for variable n number of arguments. It means you can provide n number of arguments, n number of parameters to the function. So a function can accept from no argument or no parameter or no value to the 1, 2, 5, 50, 100,000 or any n number of parameters or n number of values. So how can you define a function with star args? So it is very simple. You need to define a function like this, like function name, and in parentheses you need to provide star args. Again, the name star args, it is not compulsory to use this name always, because you can say any other name like star abc or star xyz likewise. So star args is a terminology which is being used in Python. So instead of star args, you can use any other name like star abc, star xyz, or any other name. So single star and then whatever the name is there, a function will consider that particular argument as star args, and then that particular function will accept from no arguments, no values to the any n number of arguments and number of values. Next is kwargs. So kwargs stands for keyword arguments and hence star star kwargs stands for variable n number of keywords arguments. It is same as star args. Over here again it is not compulsory to say star star quarks. Instead of star star quarks, you can use any other name like star star abc, double star xyz, or any other name. So whenever you are going to provide a function with argument like star star and any name, in that case that particular function will consider them as a keyword arguments, as a star star quarks. Now, in quarks, in keyword arguments, we are going to assign values to the arguments either while calling the function or either while defining the function. So when we are going to define a function, at that time, we can also pass default values to the function. Also, in quarks or args, it is necessary to confirm that which are the keyword arguments or which are the arguments that a function accepts or requires. And an example of how you can define quarks in a function is, this is the function name and then star star quarks. So instead of double star quarks, you can use double star abc, double star xyz, double star any other name. And if you want to call a function, you just need to provide a function name and then argument 1 and its value, like argument 1 equal to 1, argument 2 equal to 2, argument 3 equal to 3, and up till n argument and its nth value. So the difference between args and quarks is, when you are going to define a function, in that case if you want to define args, you need to say function name star args, and if you want to define quarks, then function name double star quarks. And instead of args and quarks, you can use any other name like abc, xyz, or whatever the appropriate name. Okay, now let's define a function and call it with star args. So over here I have defined a function with this def keyword. The function name is summation, and over here this function is accepting n number of arguments, variable n number of arguments. Over here variable n number of arguments means we can provide any number of arguments to the function. So we can provide a function 0 argument, as well as we can provide a function 1, 2, 3, 50, 100, 1000, or any number of arguments. And this is the part of docstring, where it is the simple description, like a function to some n number of digits. The parameters are n number of arguments, which will be in the integer format, and its description is accept n number of arguments. It will return integer, and it will be sum of n integers. So this is the description and example, like how can I call this function. So function name, and then number of arguments, number of parameters, or number of values, like 1, 2, 3, 4 xyz numbers, and then its output will be like this. Then we have defined the statement of the function, like to iterate from all these arguments. So what we will do is, first of all, this is a summation function which will sum all the given n numbers of arguments, all the n number of digits. So in that case, first of all, we will start with n equal to 0. We will see what is the argument, how it will look alike when it goes to the function. So how will be the argument within a function. Then for num in args, so for number in those arguments, iterate through it and add that particular number into this n value, and finally return the complete summation or overall sum of all those numbers. Okay, now over here I have called a function with this argument, with this statement. Summation is my function name, and over here, as I have stated, that it is accepting n variable number of arguments. Hence over here we have provided different number of values, like 1, 2, 34, and so on. So this one, like this tuple or values within this parenthesis. So this parenthesis and values within this parenthesis, we can consider it as a tuple. So this tuple is the my argument. This is the args that this function will receive. Okay, so over here I have provided this different number of arguments to this function summation, and this summation function will consider all these values as args, and hence when we have printed it with this statement print args, so it will provide us this output, this tuple of all those numbers. Now what we will do is, we will iterate through all these numbers individually, we will edit them together, and finally we will receive this output 83. This second example is again the fundamental idea of what is the star args is. So as I have told that it will accept variable n number of arguments. So earlier we have provided 10 values. Now in this case we are providing only 2 values, and with those 2 values as well, it will provide me the output. So that is the sum of those 2 values. Again, if I provide only 1 value, in that case as well, it is going to provide me the output, the sum, that is 1. And in case if I am not going to provide any argument or any other value, in that case as well, it's going to provide me some output, that is the 0. Now let's define and call a function with double star kwargs. So as I have mentioned, double star kwargs stands for keyword arguments. So now I'm going to define a summation function again with this def keyword. Over here I'm going to say double star kwargs. So earlier we have single star args, and this time we have double star kwargs. Again, this is a docstring which will tell that what is the parameter, what is its data type, and its description. Again, what is going to return, and data type of return value, and its description, and how I can call this particular function, and what will be the output. And this is the statement. So what we are going to do over here is, first of all, we will print kwargs, means whatever the statement or whatever the keyword arguments we are going to provide to the function, how it will look alike within a function that we will get from this print kwargs argument. Then when we see the input of that particular kwargs, you will see that that particular input will look like a dictionary, a Python dictionary. Hence it will have all those characteristics, all those functionalities that a Python dictionary has. Hence, we will get keys and then we will get its values. And finally, we will iterate over values and add them to provide the final sum. So over here, I have called this function summation, but as this time this function accepting variable n number of keyword arguments. Hence, instead of just providing the values like 1, 2, 34, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I need to provide them in the key value pair statement. So how it will look like? So it will be like function name, then a equal to 1, b equal to 2, c equal to 34, d equal to 5, and so on. So again, these argument names like a, b, c are not compulsory until and unless they have been defined in a function. So over here, if you see in this summation function, I have nowhere used a, b, c, d. So over here in this case, if I want, I can change this a, b, c, d to some other names like any other names. Okay, so now when I execute this function, I will first of all get this kwargs. So that is the keyword arguments. So key value pairs. So over here, a is my key and 1 is the value, b is the key and 2 is the value, and so on. J is the key and 11 is the value. Now, as I have mentioned that these kwargs are the a Python dictionary, hence we will have this dictionary properties. So over here, this is the dictionary keys that we have print with this particular statement kwargs.keys, and then we have this dictionary values that we have print with the help of kwargs.values statement. And then we are iterating through these dictionary values, and finally we will get the sum 83. Now over here, as I mentioned that it will accept variable n number of arguments. Hence earlier we have provided some 8 or 11 keyword arguments. Now over here we have provided only 2 keywords argument, that is a equal to 1 and b equal to 2. In that case, like keys will be a and b, and the values, respective values will be 1 and 2, and final sum will be 3. Again, if I am going to provide only single keyword argument, in that case also I am going to get some value like 1, that is the summation. And in case I am not going to provide any keyword argument, the function will be blank. In that case as well, I will get sum of numbers that will be 0, as this is the blank, so the output will be 0. Okay, now next thing that I would like to discuss is it might be possible that not all the arguments are useful. So for example, over here, this is the same function summation with double star kwargs with keyword arguments. Now over here, what I'm doing is I'm just using a keyword argument and b keyword argument. So as I have mentioned earlier, that if you have not used any particular keyword argument in your function, in that case, you can give any name to these keywords arguments. But if you have defined any particular keywords argument, in that case, you need to use those keywords arguments only. Why? Because if you are not going to use those keywords argument, in that case, a function will result in an error or wrong output. So how? That we will see. So over here, I am using only a and b keywords argument, and doing the sum of that a and b keywords argument only. So now, in this case, I have called this summation function with different values of this keywords like a equal to 1, b equal to 2, c equal to 34, to so on, j equal to 11. But when I execute this function, if you see over here, it has taken only a's value and b's value, and thus it had provided sum of 3 only. So my rest of the keyword arguments has failed, and in this case all the others keyword arguments are not useful. Why? Because in this summation function I have used only a and b keyword argument, and hence the keywords arguments from c to this j are not useful, and they are not being utilized for this summation statement. Now, as I have mentioned that over here in summation function, I have used a and b keywords argument. So now if I provide c and d keywords argument to this summation function, in that case, whenever I'm going to execute this function, I am going to get an error. Now the same thing goes with star args. So over here, what I have done is I have again redefined my summation function with star args. Over here, what I'm doing is I'm just using first four parameters or first four values of star args, and using those first four values, I will provide the sum. So what will happen that when I execute a function, let's say like this, summation and then 1 to 8 value, in that case, only first four values will be used to sum, and then I will finally get the sum of first four values, that is like 10 in this case, and rest of the values, in my case it is 5 6 7 8, will not used in this particular function. So these values, these parameters are not going to be used within this function for the summation part. Okay, so make sure that whenever you are defining a function or calling a function, you confirm that whatever the arguments or keyword arguments a function accept, so that it does not result into an error or a wrong output. Now, as I have mentioned that we can provide a default value to the argument as well. So over here again I have redefined my summation function with a equal to 5. It means by default, whenever I am not going to provide any value to this a keyword argument, the function will take a equal to 5 as default, and then I am going to accept any n number of keywords argument. Okay, and in my statement of this particular function, I have used a equal to a, means a keyword argument and its value, b equal to kwargs dot get b. So this kwargs dot get b will provide value of b keyword argument. This kwargs dot get c will provide me the value of c keyword argument. Then we will print the values of abc keywords argument, and finally we will sum them and will return that sum. So over here, if you see, I have used summation function with b equal to 2 and c equal to 34. Over here, I have not provided the value of a, but when I have executed this function, it has taken a's value as 5 as a default, b value that I have provided equal to 2, and c value that I have provided equal to 34, and finally I will get the sum. Again, if in this particular scenario, when I have called this summation function with a equal to 1, in that case my default value of a equal to 5 will be override, and this function will take a's value as 1 and b and c's value respectively, and then I will get the accordingly output. In case I am not going to provide any keyword argument or any values, in that case this parenthesis will be blank and it will result in an error. Why? Because my summation statement need values of a, b and c. So in my case, a's value is available as default value is 5, but there is no default value of b and c, neither I have provided any value of b and c over here, and hence it's result in an error. So that's it for the day. Thank you everyone for watching this video.